Happy Saturday, everyone. Happy Saturday, everyone. Let me know, guys, how you are doing this good Saturday. I was live, but I don't know really what happened. Everything just disappeared. Do we ever experience hate in our family settings? There we go, our topic, guys. Thank you so much for joining. Here we go with our topic, and also we also have our the family setting, the most predominant, which is the most predominant form of hate for most family. It's a criticism. Thank you guys for joining with a lot of love. Thank you guys for joining. You can support the live by liking the live. Thank you guys. Thank you everyone for joining. If this is your first time, consider subscribing. If you are a returning viewer, thank you so much. And guys, we can support the live by contributing to our today's topic. The topic is very simple, the topic is very simple. This is where we are just asking a very simple question, do we ever experience hate in our family settings? Hatulike Malaya Piri. Thank you, Karen. This is a new one. The other one I tried and then it disappeared. You can like Karen. You can like Karen. You can like, and I'm going to appreciate. There we go, guys. You can also, thank you so much, Karen, for the like. Thank you so much, Karen, for the like. And guys, you can also contribute to our today's poll. Very simple. We are asking in a family setting, which is the most hate for most family members? Is it criticism? They are those guys that are always criticized in the family setting. Thank you, Karen. I tried and then it just disappeared, and then it just said that it ended. Yeah. Is it criticism? Let me know. Is it manipulation and control? Do most family members, those or even at the personal level, experience form of neglect? And there are those family members that are always compared, with others, in terms of Karen is saying that today's topic is deep. Of course, Karen, because these are the things that Karen. Yeah, this story is very, very deep. The story is very, very deep. Yeah, of course. There are a lot of issues that are happening within our family settings. And one thing that I love about the social topics, they cut across. Be it, did you check on? Let me just check on it. Now. Eni. No wira kidogo. Uri okuo? No menderia. Menderio piu. Kwina tutunda turia twakiria. Kanyondo gaka kangi. Amanda Charridge. I'm typing that so that I can see. Ni hari turia tungi. Passion fruits. Ebunyo tuawe na tutu passion fruits. Nituredia atia? We nduragi tumoda muno mundu itu. Nona kwagia hongo. Imarega kwirua mo matuthagiria go. Na guku ni nguona. Nukuruta hari ngiri haha. Ndio niyo iho. Ajira ni baru koragwo baru kwiko ikira uta CCTV no koragwo. Ni CCTV bulb. Yuma ate. Giri 2000. Aya. CCTV ya wekira ate ikira wake. About 4000. But for bulb inakuwa ni easier. Bulb sasa inakuwa maneno ni rahisi kidogo. Iwetha. Murigo gutire mundu ungi ukua. Karen, what I'm seeing here, the charge is not coming in very well. Let me just show you. I have looked for another charge. Get the real me on another charge. Let me just check on the video. Rihanna, how are you doing? Guys, looking for these fruits. I really used to love them. Ukikosa, search Zuchu Amanda. Okay, let me go that fruit. I think that one is really simple. Let me search for Zuchu Amanda. I can see it Karen here. Let me wear my earphones so that I can listen to this. Rihanna, how are you doing? How are you doing? How are you doing, Rihanna? Thank you guys. We can support the live by subscribing. I welcome you guys that we have these fruits together. See these ones, I love them very, very much. Let me just use these earphones and listen to everything, guys. Listen to this charge that Karen has been telling me. Amanda Charridge. Wow, buffering a lot. Buffering a lot. Buffering Wi-Fi. I don't know what's not happening today. You know, the Wi-Fi is buffering a lot. Kamwira urite ri Hi my people, how are you Kada? How are you doing today? I'm also doing fine. I'm also doing very, very fine. Thank you for the like. My internet is buffering a lot. Huyu hata ameenda kutafuta change. Maybe akirudi but sijui ameenda hadi wapi. Eh. Thank you so much. Karen, I'm listening now to your song. Karen has told me to listen to Amanda by Zushu. Here you go. Oh, yeah, she is talking the truth. And the way I've been looking for this thing so that I can chat for someone else. Here is that phone. Nkada, how are you doing? I can see you are still cooking a lot of food. Cooking very, very delicious food. Thank you guys for the voting. Wow, and apologies guys. I'm having some technical hitches, you know, from my Wi-Fi. But all the same guys, everything is so nice. I'm doing fine, Carl. I'm doing fine. So guys, if you are here and maybe probably you have not yet met Nkada, she go by the name Simply Nkada. and also we have Karen. Onona? Okay, thank you. Tuko sawa sasa. Okay, okay. Thank you. I'm fine and thanks for supporting me. Yeah. Guys, if you have not met these good people, you can always support them. They are doing an amazing work, and it's all about supporting each other. They always support my work, and whenever I meet their work, I reiterate by supporting it. That's the easiest way of supporting each and everyone, guys. Karen, I'm trying to play this song by Zush, the one that you're telling me in Kaza. Amada, sorry. And Remy, I can see now it's loading. Thank you so much, guys, for voting. We have a very, very sensitive topic, very, very sensitive topic, and our topic is very, very simple. Wow, how did we go here? How did we got here? Karen is saying hi in Kada. Long time. I think you guys, you haven't met for a long time. She is saying hi. Mama K. I always call her Mama K. Let me focus on a mother song. This topic again is very deep. I can hear it's Amanda. Nice to see you, Nkada. Doing well. She's saying hi. I think she's fine. Maybe you guys, you haven't met for a very long time. Karen, I have heard the song. And they are saying it's trending #1. It's a nice one. It's all about inquiring who is Amanda. It's always inquiring who is Amanda. Wow. I think Amanda is that someone who always maybe come in our life and try to disrupt everything, That guy or that lady who always come, in our lives and always trying to disrupt. to disrupt, back to our question, in a family setting, which is the most predominant form of hate for most members of the family? Criticism 0%, manipulation and control 0%, neglected 0%, comparison and favorism. I think for comparison and favorism, which has so far 3 votes, I think it's very predominant in an African setting. In the context that our parents, our African settings have really growing up, and also we have also grown up understanding that we try to distinguish, or we try to differentiate between the capabilities of our kids. Yeah, this is maybe where a certain kid is seen maybe to be doing very well in school, well, another guy is seen like she can do very well at home, and I remember during those days growing up, those guys that most of our parents really perceived to be, very disciplined, very doing well in school, they were also even given less duties. I know you guys, maybe you probably experienced the same thing. They are always given less duties, and they are always told, what, they really need some time so that they can study. But for you, because probably you don't care about school, probably you are not so active at school, then maybe you are given some other tasks. You are told maybe you can go and do some farming on the shamba. You are also given some other tasks. You are being sent here and there. But for those that were perceived to be, very sharp, within the family settings, they always had an advantage, And I don't know. I think about comparison. It's something which is in our DNA. Even it's within our parents, even if all of them, even if you have 10 kids, I don't know, when parents are having parent-to-parent talk, because I have had so many parents, so they can rest and they don't do all the work. Yeah. That has always been, the perception by our parents. And so Karen, where were you? Were you the one doing the donkey work, or you are the one that was told, Karen is the best? I think she's doing very well at school. Wow, guys, explaining for the first time. I think now the code season is almost ending. There are those guys that were told, he is very sharp. He is concentrating at school. He needs really more adequate time so that he can focus on his or her education. Hiyo ni story ya nikiwa monetized. Yeah. You should tell us when you get monetized. Tell us in which category were you? Were you the one that was given those favors, because they could see a lot of potential in Karen? I have also, as I was saying, I have also heard about parent-to-parent talk, and mostly women. Women at some point really love gossips. It's their nature. African setting, women and gossips, they are always stuck. So most of the time, I always had a lot of women having some conversation on, trying to explain their, trying to tell other women about the capacity of their daughters. Maybe I have ever said my story somewhere, but we have never heard it about it. We have never heard it, Karen. Maybe you can disclose some of the information, and then when you get monetized, now you can give us the full video, So most of the time, you'd always hear women, trying to gossip, this is my last born. He is very, very, he is very, very sharp. This is my third born. I don't know why he is drained in life. you know, I have my neighbor here who has two kids. One is a son, and I don't want her to hear me. It's all about women, the gossip that they have. And you would always hear, my firstborn is very, very sharp. Even though he never used to get a lot of good grade at school, he is always very, very sharp. But the other one used to be very good at school, but he is a slow learner in life. He is doing things very, very, very slow. I don't know why, you know. And that's the kind of gossip that women always try to talk about aloud their sons and daughters. There is no women, even your mothers, I'm very sure. Yeah, they will not always talk about positive things about you. They always say, oh, now this daughter of mine was very, very sharp, but now maybe when she go to high school or at the university, things happen. I don't know if he got a boyfriend and then at the end of the day he diverted. Instead of getting focused, I think he is getting lost in life. So at the end of the day, the moment now they start comparing you that way, even some of the favors that they really used to give you, they are always withdrawn at a very slow rate. But on the other hand, if you can now prove to your parent, maybe you can do something, and that's how neighbors hate you. Of course, because they are always, because your mother, and mothers and mothers, they can say anything, but at the end of the day, they don't realize maybe they are trying to expose their boy or their daughter, maybe to their friends. So they can say, this one, that boy is a little bit slow. Like I always heard about my neighbor here that I'm talking about, and she really used to say, uh, nowadays I don't know what really happened. I think he is having an affair because each and every day he is just locked in his room with a phone. I don't know what he is really thinking about, you know. And I wish that very soon I'm going to take him to school so that he can go with all his stress to school, and then when now he is there he can sort himself out. Then they don't feel good, and they always gossip about trying to compare who is the best. And if maybe you are the best, and parents are very funny, this time you can be the best, but maybe if you fail just by a small margin, then now they start focusing or shifting your focus to another person, and they see that person to be more better than you. So comparison and that type of a favor is always there in parents. It's always there in parents, because they are those guys that are always seen to be slow learners. They are always there. They are doing things very, very slow. At school, they are always problematic. you know like I remember there was one of my brothers who was very, very problematic at school. And it reached even to a point where my mother said, you know what, I'm not going to come again at your school trying to defend you. uh, but at the end of the day, if you are told now to go home, you are going to sort out yourself. So yeah, I agree, but our African settings does not appreciate that. Yeah, it does not appreciate that. We really try to lean on the best, and we forget even the ones that we are seeing as weak. They also have other capabilities. That's now the thing that Karen we don't always see. So most parents, in terms of negligence is on very, very rare cases. You know, it's very rare, especially in our African settings. You see a parent neglecting their kids, unless for very extreme cases like maybe parents are drunkards. You know, if parents are drunkard, then for them it's very, very high for them to neglect their kids. But when you talk about manipulation and control, of course, 100%, when you are under your parents' roof, they always control you. They always control you, of which it's a good thing. And parents always, each and every homestead have very, very strict rules and regulations on how maybe you should stay in that house. You know, like our rule in our home was very, very simple. If you're at school, you should be at school. If you are not at school, you should be at home. You know, we really didn't have any option. You know, our options were very, very limited. Women with gossips are 5 and 6. Of course, in Canada, women and gossip. Oh, I'm telling you, they are always there. They are always there. And at the end of the day, they always feel very good, especially when they are gossiping. Me, I don't know what's really happening with that. They always, but you see now, if women don't talk and men do not gossip, now who is going to gossip? So at times, it's always good. Let them gossip. Let them gossip because it's their nature. It's their nature. Because when women don't gossip, I don't think things are always light. They always gossip. But nowadays they are even gossiping about even you know what their husband are doing, where their husband are faring, of which now I think that one is now you know, beyond the home territory. But gossiping about their kids, you know, and there are those parents that are very, very, good gossipers, especially when their kids are always the best. You know, even at school, there are those kids that were highly talented. So those parents, even in church, yeah, even in church, they really want to show you that, my son is not only good in church, he is also very good when it comes to, when it comes even to the education. He or she has always been number one. You know, even I have been called severally by the head teacher. But now when the kid is failing, oh, most parents do not want to gossip about that. They really want to hide the failure and they really want to project the successes that are linked to their kids. So, in terms of control and manipulation, yes, it is there. And I think this is always there in each and every African home setting. Yeah, it's always there in each and every home settings. I know even you guys growing up, I know you are maybe told, if you don't come marry, if you come past 7 in my home, do not enter. Those are some of the simple rules that parents always have. So if you don't come maybe at this point, at this time, kindly look elsewhere where you can sleep. You know, African parents with time, they are very, very punctual, especially for ladies. Especially for ladies. For ladies, you are always given an what we call ultimatum. Ultimatum. You are told if tomorrow you come at about 8 p.m., no one is going to open the gate for you. You must come very early. And from today henceforth, it is a rule and regulation. You must be in the house by exactly 7:30. If you come late, then now maybe you can sort yourself up. But for boys, I think for boys, parents are a little bit lenient. If you come at a loud date, the parent was not so much aware, so much worried. But for ladies, it was paramount. By 7, you must be at home. Otherwise, you are going to say where you have spent all your time at night. So parents were very, very good, especially in terms of observation. And for criticism, I think criticism is not very, very common in our African setting. Yeah. criticism, because our parents do not really love about criticizing our kids, do not really love about criticizing what we do in future. They are always there. They are always there. But I think this one for another, maybe for another setting, like maybe for the first world class, or maybe, yeah, I think now criticism can really apply there. For negligence, I think if you got that setting, or if you have seen that family setting where maybe the father of a certain boy or a girl was drunkard, then negligence was used to be there. I remember growing up in a village, there was this family, and this family had a very sharp man, or a very sharp boy. We used to be in the same school with him, and but the father was very irresponsible. Negligence. The father used to work as a watchman in one of the high school that was just within our, village, and the family had about 6 kids, 6 kids, and all of them were almost of the age were almost very similar. And so you could find that this boy is coming to school this week, next week he is not there, next week but one he is there, you know because the father, maybe he has paid a salary and all he could do was drinking. At the end of the day, the kids were very sharp, but even getting that school fee was a little bit very tricky for the kids. And we could always see the negligence, because there are some of the days, and for those that grew in the village, it's not like nowadays that kids are being given food at school. We used to carry our own food. Yeah, we used to carry our own food, and you'd always find that maybe this kid didn't even have food to carry to school. And at the end of the day, you are at school from 8 a.m. up to maybe 5 p.m. in the evening. And therefore, we used now to have an extra ditch, where now we could just sit somewhere eating. We could donate small until now the dish was full. And the boy would always enjoy eating that food. And the negligence continued, but the boy was very sharp, because I remember during our day, I think he was the first guy who read us. He never used to come to school frequently. He was dealing with a lot of issues when it comes to school fee, but the boy was very sharp. He got was it I think 370 something marks out of 500. And the boy used to come to school this week. Next week he is told by the head teacher, by the head. During our time we had our head mistress. He was told by the head mistress, you know what? Even if I really want to keep you in class, I can't. You have to pay some school fees. So each and every time he was always being sent home. And the father was there, but the father was working. And now the mother is just there, trying to do some farming and some labor work in others' farm, just now to look for food for the other kids, because they were all about 6 kids. And then the father, once he get the salary, it's all about drinking. And then at the end of the day, even affording school was an issue. So the boy finished class 8, and then after finishing class 8, now he went to high school. And where he went to high school, it is where now the father used to work as the watchman. And unfortunately, I think the whole scenario became so complex for the boy, to an extent where when he was informed to, he didn't see the need, to continue schooling, and that was the end of him with school. So negligence in African setting is always there, and it's on very rare cases, especially when the families do not have this solid form of a way for survival. But in terms of comparison and favorism, I think that is there. That is very there. because each and every parent, us growing up, parent really tended to distinguish us by maybe our performance, by our conduct, by how we interact with others. Like I was being told by one of my friends, yes, and this is also something that I saw in our house. Whenever visitors would come, yeah, you'd always, before even they have come in your house, your mother would always have told you, I'm going to have visitors maybe from this time to that time, so you should sort out yourself. I don't want to see you, going in, coming out, going in, coming out, and I'm having visitors. And when you did that mistake, then at the end of the day, it was all about Dhala beating. It was all about Dhala beating. So the issue is very, very simple. you know, the issue is all about uh, parent tending to have some favor, and to some of their kids, and in the process they fail to understand that kids are gifted differently. And but I love the entire approach of how the modern kids are being brought up, because parents have really realized that kids can do a lot of different issues. Like during our time, there was nothing as good as education. Each and every parent would always say, if you are not going to school, then you should look elsewhere where you can stay. But if you do the right thing, and maybe you follow your school and you do everything, then you are going to have a good life. But nowadays, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Parents have really started now to shift their mentality that everything, it's not all about education. It's not all about going to school, having good grades, and then having a good life. No, there is more than that. There is more than that. So parents have really started now to appreciate that I can have a footballer, I can have a professional footballer in my house and he still survive. I can also have a professional doctor in my house, and things will be more better. But those parents, during our time, they only had one mentality, that education was the standard thing. Education was everything, and without education, then without education, you'd even be discriminated within the family setting. But nowadays, they have realized, even if you don't have that, that a lot of education, then you can still survive. You know, that's the best thing that our today's or our modern parents are appreciating when it comes to treating their kids differently. So, as Karen has said, I agree that kids are they are gifted differently. And the good thing with modern parenting, it's all about appreciating that it's not all about being a doctor, it's not all about being a nurse, it's not all being an engineer. There is more than that. you know Kids are doing very well in terms of playing instruments, and at the end of the day, whenever parents now start appreciating that they can be able to nurture the talents that their kids have, then it even becomes more easier. But during our time, without education, you'd even be alienated, maybe even in family meetings. You know, you'd always go and you always been told, he is the only person who refused to go to school. The others went even to the college, but for him, when he reached Form 4, he said that he or she said that he was tired with education. And therefore now, because of that statement, some parents really took it with a lot of passion, you know. And each and every time you made a mistake, they could always link you with your conduct, with what you did in the past, with the current event. But the good thing with our modern parents, they have really realized, you know, and they have really appreciated that we can shift our mindset, from career oriented, from education oriented to having any form of career. I love it, especially when I see parents each and every week, because I have seen some key parents trying even to support their kids for drama. Others I always see some parents. Like here, I have my good neighbor who always has a kid, and the kid is very, very passionate about football. And once he get out of school, he always come with his jerseys. Is it for Kenya? Is it for Manu? The boy is very, very talented in understanding how different games are played, and he also loves and enjoys playing football. But during our time, oh, things were different. It's all about you having some basin with cold water. I don't know if you guys really experienced that, because our parent had very, very clear, way of thinking that for you to succeed, you really need to have a cold basin of water. You dip your legs there, then you read the whole night so that your future might be bright. I don't know if you guys experienced that, but for me, I did it severally, guys. I did it severally, and there was thing I would always, even sleep, especially even if my legs are always on the basin, on the cold water in basin. But the key thing is, it's all about appreciating that there is no, as a parent, you should not be able to say this is your favorite kid. It's all about it's all about making that equalization. And I love this. There was a court ruling that was done, I think, some years ago, and it was all about inheritance. Because initially, when we really talked about inheritance, especially for we as Kikuyu, we as uh, Kikuyu tribe, when it came to inheritance, we are always told, what, the only person who can inherit maybe his or her father's property is only the son, you know, because we always perceive that, the daughters, they are just going to get out of school. The daughters are going to get out of school, and once they are out of school, then it will be easier for them to get a husband there, and then from there now they can build their wealth with the husband. That has always been our mindset as the Kikuyu community. But it reached to a point where now we really wanted to, the tribe really wanted to break this kind of a yoke, because it was a form of a yoke, because it was a form of favor, and that's the same thing that you're talking about. It was a form of favor, because boy child in the Kikuyu community, we are highly regarded to an extent that if your father has a property, you know, it's, let's say it's a family between a boy and a girl. The boy is taken to be the ultimate successor of all that property. And then the girl is always told, now for you are already married, you have your husband, blah blah blah. And then at the end of the day, I think you can also go and start your own building. You start your own foundation, your own wealth foundation with your husband. And it became very, very, it became a very serious issue about how we really treated the culture. And our high court, I think, realized that that was a form of a mislead, you know and it came with a very good ruling, saying that even if you have like 10 kids, and maybe 5 are daughters and 5 are boys, and you are willing, no one is limited to be the heir, or to be the heir of that property. So today, nowadays, I have seen so many, families are really adapting to that rule. because each and every time I always heard maybe that family, the father is not there, the mother has died. But even before they die, they always say, all this property that I have left, in as much as you are going to share it out, also remember your sister is part and parcel of this property. And I think that's a positive move toward minimizing favorism within our communities. Because as much as we are going to have all these properties, and then we are going to neglect, gender, in terms of gender based maybe negligence and something of sort, then it had no value even to our family values. So it's always good to appreciate, even if you have a daughter, even if you have a son, uh, you should always focus on ensuring that no one is favored, especially when it comes to getting the property. And one thing that I have really loved about daughters, I have seen a family that have been left. The father really had a lot of property, the building estates, vehicles, some businesses here and there. But one thing that I have always realized, even where I stay, is that the boy child nowadays is so irresponsible in an extent that once maybe the parents are out or the parents have died, and they really understand that they are the immediate heir, and they are the ones that are really supposed to take all that inheritance. At the end of the day, most of them, it's all about now living the high life. It's all about living the high life. It's all about now buying the best mobile autobiography in the land. It's all about having some shelehes here and there, because money is there. And that's the reason why you are seeing each and every day uh, guys, very very young guys from very rich families, they are always riding very very expensive vehicles on the road. Why? Because most of them, they were left by parents, and parents really really invested. But for the girl child, I don't know. But one thing that I really love about the girl child who really inherit their father's property is most of them really take it very seriously, and most of them act as if they are stewards. Like I know of a certain lady, and the father had a very very small. He has a building. He had several buildings, Zagorofa, the story buildings. But at the end of the day, the father died, and the mother had died long before. Now the father. One difference that we always see today, that lady is working as if there is nothing else that have remained on this earth. She ensured that that type of a job, that job that his dad was doing about hardware and something, today it is well stocked. The lady is very very passionate about doing it. You always find her very early in the morning, by 7, the shop is up and running, with all the stuff, with all the properties, with all the materials. But his brother was a little bit more tipsy here and there, always drinking here and there. But the girl really took after the father's, after the father, because she really understood that making property is all about doing the type of job that you're doing with a lot of passion. So to me, I always believe that it's an instrumental thing to ensure that even kids, even daughters, no one is favored. If you have a property, just leave it. Just leave it, and ensure that if you really had, a boy, a girl, or something of such, give them equal share. Give them equal share, if you're in that capacity, if you have the capacity. And once now you do that, I think now your family will be even more stable, even after you leave. Because at the end of the day, We are all here, we are looking for all these things, and then at the end of the day we leave them. And once we leave, if you have not really trained them on how to handle them, it really becomes an issue. But if you had really trained them on how to, to ensure that these properties can work and these properties can, can increase, then it really becomes very easy for them to ensure that they multiply what you had really started. Because I really hate it, especially when someone dies and in the process maybe that person really had the Kerima family. Kerima was one of the best business persons that we had in the Republic of Kenya, and besides being one of the best, he was also part of the government of Kenya. And the Kerima family really had a lot of property, and at the end of the day, I think he didn't have that self-belief that his kids, that his daughters, his sons would really be able to ensure that these properties are there, and ensure that that there was continuity of his legacy. And therefore, in making most of his agreement, this man really focused on ensuring that all the properties, were left under the leadership of directors and managers. If it is hotel, all the agreement really focused on managers and directors, managing those properties. And in the process, wow, things started, a lot of langos here and there, a lot of langos here and there. And at the end of the day, everything now started crashing down. It was all about court orders after court orders after court orders after court orders, until all the properties that the father had really worked and toiled for years and years went into waste because of the court cases. You see? And at the end of the day, when I look at the entire story, it was all about negligence. Because at the end of the day, I believe in as much as you are going to have maybe you are 5 or 4 kids, all of them cannot be bad. All of them all of them cannot be untrainable. Amongst those kids, there is even 1 or 2 kids that maybe you can train, and then at the end of the day, you can even show them how maybe to ensure that your business is up and running even after you leave. But most of the African parents, they don't do that. I love the way Indians operate. I don't know if you have ever seen the operation of Indian shops. They are very, very specific and to the point. I always see them comparison or even favorism, and in terms of negligence, they don't really understand what is the meaning of the word negligence, because at the end of the day, they always believe that each and every person of that homestead have the capacity and capability of ensuring that there is continuity in business. One of the key things that I love about the Indian that are really learning businesses, it's all about, they always focus on the art of learning, OJT, we call it OJT, on the job learning, so if you are an Indian, your father takes you to his or her shop, your father take the son to his shop, or the daughter to his shop, and you are there always, and they start by giving you these lighter roles, go for a change, go and look for a change, after there, tomorrow you are told, this is how we sign documents. The other day you are told, now this is how maybe you make a consignment. The other day they are told, this is now how you, those young guys, and these are school people or school students. So anytime they cross school, for an Indian setting, they don't leave their kids at home. No, they take along with them to their businesses. So they take them to their businesses, and their main motive is very simple. Let's go to operate that business. And I always go to Indian shops. I see like a granny who is almost 80 or 85. She is just there, you know, just observing what the son or what the grandson is doing in that shop. And at the end of the day, once they die, now these grandsons now become the shop owners. And once now these grandsons now become the shop owner, they do the same. They now start training the kids, their kids, to ensure that that continuity of business is there. So when you look at entirely about various culture and various tribes, there are some cultures that really believe that kids are really, kids are really talented differently, and through their different talents, they are able, especially we as Kenyans, we don't do that. Your father has a shop, all you do is just to go home, ask for food. You don't really want to understand, some of the key factors that are affecting your father's business. No, that one is not your concern. And even fathers or mothers, they don't really even care about that. So they can just go home, just relax, and at the end of the day, all the kids need is all about food and something of sort. Like I was being told of a story, of a father who has a son who finished, Form 4 last year. And it's all about my neighbor. My good neighbor here was telling me he has a son who has a phone. So in the process of the son using the phone, this guy came and stole his phone. And when his phone was stolen, now they had to take the case to the police, to understand why, had to report to see the phone that has been stolen. And then now, when it all came to understanding who stole the phone, it was a kid who had really finished Form 4. I'm being told that the father is a mechanic, but the father, because of I don't know if it's all about fear. I don't know what we really fear as Africans. That we really want to compare kids, because this kid, according as per the father, this kid really had a very rough time, really gave him rough time when he was in high school. And according to father, he didn't see worth, after Form 4, to taking him even to college or to computer or to driving. Those are some of the basic things that if you have a Form 4 kid, that you should do. But the father didn't really care about doing that. All the father focused on was all about, leaving him on the streets, and so that the guy can learn about hard life and the guy can survive. But in the process, because there are no jobs, because maybe there are no opportunities, the guy now started, taking, being a thief, stealing these petty things such as a phone. And in the process, now when they went for a case, the father disclosed that he is a mechanic. And the key question that was really lingering on my mind was, why didn't even the father think about going with him? Because being a mechanic, there are a lot of opportunities out there. He can be an electric, mechanic. He can be, mechanic. He can be, any form of, it's a very diverse field. And if the father is there, and probably he has some friends where he needed go to hustle each and every day, then he can take his son there, and the son, I believe that he can really do some good job. But because of that form of favorism and comparison, and having the mentality that because the child was not very good at school, he really gave me some headaches at some point. Then to me, I don't think I'm going to give him that favor, especially when he complete the Form 4 or when he complete his education. But at the end of the day, parents really do not appreciate that whenever that child is maybe having some issues or some problem, then it will be the burden of the parent. Like for this case that I'm telling you, the guy stole the phone, and because the father really neglected him, and he really compared him with the other sons or with the other children, and he said, when he was in form 4, he was always giving me a lot of problem, and in the process, after stealing the phone, now the guy was caught up by the police, and he was taken to the station. So when now the father came, the son is there, he is helpless. This is the father. The father didn't have an option rather than, what, you are still my son, and even though you have failed me terribly, I think now I'm going to pay for this phone. But once you are in such type of a trouble, really do not call me. But that is not the solution. You know, at the end of the day, if that boy is back on the street, having nothing to do, the father will still bear the burden. You know, I always say, even if your son or your daughter is a thief, at the end of the day, even if they get killed, you see, it will also be your burden as a parent to go and bury that child. And you are going to have that type of you are going to have that type of what is called bitterness. Yeah. So you are always going to have that type of a bitterness that I, as a parent, it was my failure, to compare this child with the other child. I wish I wish maybe I had really given this guy or this lady an opportunity, and maybe she could be more better than the way he or she was faring on in life. Like this guy, I really felt for him, because if the father is the mechanic and he is stealing petty things like phones and whatever, I think if I was in the father's shoe, I would really have taken my son, we go with him where I hustle each and every. He is still a man. And once the kid maybe has finished Form 4, that's a very, very, energetic man who can do a lot of jobs. So you just take him where you work, show him how he can get things genuinely, and then at the end of the day, things are going to work for him. Even if now you go, even if now you die, at the end of the day, he'll still remember, this type of mechanic or this type of job that I'm doing, I was trained by my father. He is going to appreciate. But now when you live with the element that you want to favor this child over that, at the end of the day, you are going to have a lot of stress in life. And therefore, in as much as we are experiencing hate within our family in terms of comparison and favorism, I believe it's a clerical call for our parents, and for us as parents, to ensure that we take our children in moderation. Let's apply what we call modesty. Let's appreciate that this child can never be an engineer. Even if I force him too much on education, things are not working. And so now the easiest thing or the simplest thing that I can do is all about showing him the right way. And which is the right way? Try to match him his passion. you know I love about how some of these high-end parents or very rich parents approach life, because most of them, they have realized, even if I take my kid through the 844 system, like the system that we are having here in Kenya, things at the end of the day might not work. But what if I take him through the IGCSE? you know those parents are very, very selective, and when they go through the IGCSE, they just find, wow, this one can become a personal assistant, this one can become an instrumentalist, this one can become this one can become an engineer, this one can become a mechanic, and these at the end of the day really, really works for that kid. But for us, wow, if we keep embedded if we keep our mind where we just started, then everything is not going to work. Very, very precise. Wow, that is it, guys. Today I really love this topic. Today we really have a very, very interesting topic, and wow, thank you so much, guys, for joining, and thank you so much, guys, for always contributing to our live session, guys. I bet I'm going to end this live at this point. And our today's topic was very, very simple, very, very simple, but very, very important. And we really focused on a very, very simple thing, on a very, very simple topic. And our topic was, do we ever experience hate in our family settings? Do we ever really experience hate in our family settings? And if yes, then we continue. How do we handle the situation? Wow. How do we the situation? And people have said that that's another question for another day. It's a deep question, because it really touches the core of the family. But these are things that are really happening in our family. And then, guys, we also had a poll. We had a poll where our question was very simple. In a family setting, which is the most predominant form of hate for most family members? In a family setting, which is the most predominant form of hate for most family members? No criticism, got 0%, manipulation and control got 0%, negligence got 0%, and comparison and favorism really got 100%. So thank you so much, guys. It was Lynn. Having you on board, Karen, Nkada, and everyone else, guys, that has really joined, that has really joined this live. And it was always a very nice thing. So guys, I bet I'm going to end this live, this live at this point. As always guys, it's always my wish that we keep on supporting each and every person guys, as a way of ensuring that we move on as a team, through your support, through my support, through someone else's support guys. These always work. So guys, thank you so much for always contributing to each and every day topic. Karen was very sensitive about the topic, and she was really asking me why I'm so passionate about these what I call the social topics, because I really love understanding. Those are some of the key challenges that I really experienced during my childhood, and it was also and it is also some of the key issues that even our society today is still experiencing, and therefore there is need for us each and every day to keep on talking about them, because if we don't keep on talking about them, then I don't think no one else will really focus on them. As always guys, thank you with a lot of love. I really want to wish you a happy weekend. Today is on Saturday guys. Let's meet tomorrow. I wish you the best. If you go to church, let's go and worship, let's go and pray, and everything guys shall be well. As always guys, let's keep it tight, let's be safe, and God willing guys, tomorrow same place, same time guys. As always, thank you so much guys, with a lot of love, guys, and without your love everything would not have been possible. So let me tomorrow guys, same place, same time, and may God bless you. Have a good night wherever you are watching, and for those that really watched during the day, have a nice afternoon. And for those maybe probably will be watching this video during morning hours, have a good morning guys, and everyone else have a fantastic day. Let's meet tomorrow, same place, same time, with a lot of love guys. Thank you.